How does the millionaire mind work? What does it really take to be the best in your field? Is there a secret to success in life?
I aim for stuff so big that the dream is bigger than the fear.
If you help other people get what they want, you will get what you want.
The easiest thing I've ever done was to earn $1 million. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe it could happen to me.
If you want to have more, you have to become more. Success is not a doing process, it's a becoming process.
You start changing your mind. You start changing how you think. You start picking up new ideas and information. And I'm telling you, if you'll do that, your whole life will change. Don't do this any longer. Wish for a better wind. The key is to wish for the wisdom to set a better sail. Utilize whatever wind it blows to take you wherever you want to go. That is the philosophy I picked up at age 25, and it revolutionized my whole life.
This is Success Profiles, the interview show that features world-changing entrepreneurs, high achievers, experts, and more. Success Profiles was created and produced to inspire and empower you to greatness. If you want to be the best, learn from the best. Now, here's your host, Daniel Fazina.
Hello, friend, and welcome to Success Profiles. I'm honored that you're joining me today. You can always check us out at facebook.com/Success Profiles. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Daniel Fazina, the numeral 1 on twitter.com. Very excited to be with you today. Got an amazing guest in store. She is my business mentor, a friend, and an amazing woman who has a phenomenal story. She was a broke, homeless cocktail waitress at 19, and by 22, she was a millionaire. She's going to share her story of how she went from rags to riches and some of the key principles that you can implement to be successful as well. All right, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our special guest. She is my friend, my coach, my mentor, America's favorite, and I might add, America's sexiest millionaire, Dani Johnson. Welcome to the show.
Gosh. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Daniel, thank you so much. You are amazing, and I'm so excited that you're doing this project. So basically, I actually grew up in a violently abusive, drug-infested home, and I was that person who thought that I would never amount to anything. The father that raised me, who I thought was my real dad, told me that I was fat, ugly, stupid. You can't do anything right. You're never going to be loved by anybody. You're never going to go anywhere. Yeah. I mean, I certainly didn't have the upbringing of someone believing in me or encouraging me to do great things. I had somebody constantly pointing out my bad grades, or anytime I made a mistake or I said something that wasn't quite right. Not to mention, I was dyslexic. I didn't read my first book till I was 21 years old. So I grew up feeling really stupid. And I also, because of all the abuse, I was molested from the time I was 3 until I was 16, moved out of the house because of it. When you grow up with that, you grow up with a lot of anger, distrust. I didn't trust anybody, men or women, older, younger, you name it. I just hated people with a passion. And this all changed when I was introduced to the business community. And I didn't get started in business because I thought I could succeed. I got started in business because I knew I could fail. And I got started on the failure equation because I'd been programmed to believe that I was a failure, right? So this is where that one program worked really well for me in a moment when I was 19 years old. And I happened to be in a meeting with a whole lot of other people that were checking out different business opportunities. And 4 millionaires were talking. And these millionaires were sharing their story. And I thought to myself, what if I'm the dumbest person in the room? Which I knew I was, right? Check that box. And then what if it takes me 20 years to learn what they know? I'll give myself 20 years. And what if I fail their income by 90%? So I gave myself 20 years to fail a millionaire's income by 90%. I got started in business literally that day. And the first 6 months, Daniel, I failed. I failed horribly. I couldn't get anything figured out. I couldn't get customers. I couldn't get anybody to want to participate with anything that I was doing. And I knew there was something I didn't know how to do. So I heard about some other training seminars. I took my credit cards and I invested in flying all over the country and learning. Managed to make $50,000 that next 6 months, which was a lot of money to now a 20-year-old. Wow. That was a ton of money. especially with, a high school dropout. I was a teen pregnancy. I grew up on welfare. I mean, that was like $1 million in my mind. So from there, Daniel, I met somebody and married him after knowing him for 7 days, and I lost it all. I was embezzled. I had $35,000 now debt. I had $2.03 left to my name. I was 50 pounds overweight. I was 3,000 miles away from anybody that I knew. And I was homeless, and I was suicidal. And I just literally wanted to die. And I'd been suicidal since I was 6 years old, so that was nothing new. But the good news is that all that training I had invested into the year before, I managed to put that into practice after hearing a voice telling me to pick up my mat and walk. And that was after doing a crazy amount of drugs. That was after giving my body over to anybody that would have me. I was this close to entering the pornography industry. I was offered a $25,000 shoot for a one-day shoot. And then I also had tried to sell my body for cocaine. And so my life was about to turn to the absolute worst when I heard that voice tell me to pick up my mat and walk. From there, I started a business. My first year, I made $250,000. By the end of my second year, I had made my first million. This happened by the time I was 23. Fast forward to today. Today, I'm a multi-millionaire. I've ran many companies throughout the last 27 years, 5 children, 8 grandchildren, all of which live within 5-10 minutes of us. But 100% of the profits from our business go straight to taking care of the poor, and I take no salary. I touch not the profits, and I take no salary. And so we worked on projects like building 1,000 homes for the extreme poor in Nicaragua, as well as feeding thousands, 18,000 orphans we fed last year, supplying water for 900,000 people last year. So basically, I've used our business to help people to succeed, to train them up, to teach them how, and then I take all the profits and I give it to the poor.
That is amazing. I love your story. It is so inspirational. It's so powerful. And I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people, they have their own idea of what success means to them.
Yeah.
They have different definitions, but what does success mean to Dani Johnson?
Success for Dani Johnson, and it's such a great question. It's a question I ask on my radio and TV show every single day because it's different for everybody. Daniel, when I first started in business, the very first mentor that I had was a millionaire. And this was a very driven person who believed that his definition of success was yachts and women and first class flights or his own private jet and several homes that were, $10 million. That was his idea of success. The Armani suits that were $5,000, the $1,000 ties, the $2,000 journal. So that's what I was sold at such a young age, 19, 20, 21. I was programmed to believe that that was success. And I began to chase those things. And to be honest with you, I ended up having a nervous breakdown at 25 and a heart attack at 24, trying to chase these things. And Daniel, that vision, that definition of success about killed me. And so through the years, I defined that success to Dani Johnson, and it's not success for everybody else, is family and the love of my family and a marriage that is passionate and harmonious, a relationship with my maker, my true Father in heaven. Success to me is being content in the lean years and content in the crazy, huge, prosperous, profitable years. Right. Success to me is health. Wealth is health. Good relationships with my coworkers, our clients. And success to me is not working for money. Success to me is being able to be totally free financially. And what is that definition for me? Because it's different for everyone. It's that I can actually take my talents into the marketplace. I can help clients from all over the world, like Andres Lanka, who lives in Latvia, who was failing in business, who had a crazy amount of debt and no way to pay it off, didn't know how to grow his business, and had 75 customers and 8 employees and was failing miserably. Now he has 2,000 students. He has 135 teachers. He's in 8 different countries. He's totally debt-free. And this all happened within 2 years. So using my talents and skills to teach people exactly about money, about business, about success, about relationships at home and at work, but being able to do that and not be paid for it, that my mouth is not bought, that I'm not concerned about impressing people with my tongue, but I boldly tell the truth about money, about our society, about the church, about our health, about our family, and what our life looks like moving ahead if we don't make some changes. And to do that without my mouth being bought, to have the freedom to speak it and not give a rip what anyone thinks or says, that is freedom, that is success. And being able to take care of the poor to the tune of millions of dollars, that to me is the ultimate, the whole picture of success for me personally. It's not for everybody, but that's what it is for me.
Well, that's one of the things I love about you, and that you take a holistic approach to success, and you touch every area of life, from finances to relationships to, business. I mean, saving, getting out of debt, all of that is a very comprehensive approach, which I love. And if anyone's watching this, you need to go to First Steps to Success, where Dani teaches all these things. I just came back from one, and man, it was like getting hit repeatedly in the face with a 2x4 of truth, like every time. Crazy, but good stuff. You laid out 8 principles of health, marriage, like a whole healthy life.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about the importance of charity and giving, and why is that so important to you, and why is it so important to have a successful life in general?
I used to be a very greedy woman. And it was greed that drove me towards a suicide attempt that, thank God, my husband is a martial artist, because he disarmed me from a chef knife and a cleaver that I was trying to gut myself out with. And my 4-year-old daughter walked out rubbing her eyes saying, "What's going on, Mommy?" It was greed. It was that addiction to money. It was the addiction to work. It was the addiction to trying to please everybody and impress people. And that truly wasn't my makeup. That wasn't who I was, but I didn't know who I was. And I was doing simply what the gurus were telling you to do, and what the gurus were maybe insinuating to do when they're showing themselves in their yachts and their airplanes and their expensive suits, and you know what I mean, all that stuff. And society gives us that definition of success, but that definition of success was killing me. And it wasn't until, honestly, Daniel, that I discovered that my family was more important, and I retired from business for about 4 years. And I found myself miserable in retirement, which was wild, right? I'm a full-time mom. I'm growing a garden. I'm baking homemade bread. I'm rolling out pasta. And that still wasn't it. Mom was not living out the fullness of purpose, which I believe there's 8 areas of life. And one of those is charity. And it comes from the oldest principles of wealth, literally 6,000-year-old principles of creating wealth and sustaining wealth and generational wealth. And the true wealthy of the world, they are huge with taking care of the poor. They are huge with building sustainability projects to be able to help those who cannot help themselves. And so I believe that we were all wired for it. And once somebody does it, and I'm not talking about just writing a check. Come with me to Nicaragua. Come with me to see the extreme poor. See the naked children, little 4-year-olds who are hungry, whose hair is all matted up and it's just filled with dirt and lice. Now, right now you're like, I don't think I want to go there. Yeah, you do. Because when you touch them, you touch something so profound. When you see smiles on their faces, you see joy and a hip in their step, and you see them playing in dirt. When you see the moms also smiling, and they have nothing to smile about according to our definition of happiness. I have learned more from the poor than I have any rich person on this earth. I have learned more about faith, love, family, happiness, contentment. I have learned more about wealth from the extreme poor than I have of any famous person. And Daniel, I've been on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Yep. I've been on the Steve Harvey Show. I've been on Fox and Friends. And I've also been on Benny Hinn and Morris Cirillo. I have traveled the world with some of the most famous people in the world, and none of them have ever taught me more than people like Antonia, who has 2 children. She's living at the city dump site, and it grabs daily the things that she's going to serve for food for her family. And daily living outside on the dirt, on a cot that she got out of the dump site, with clothes that she picked out of the dump site. Do you understand? I've learned more from her. I've learned more from Candida, who fought for her village, who was dying, how she rallied, a poor, uneducated woman who rallied for her people, not even for herself. And today, those 281 families have brand new homes. They have water, they have electricity, they've got chickens, they've got also an education. We put in a computer lab, we put in a medical facility. Their whole lives have been changed, and for generations to come, it will always be changed.
That is amazing. And I saw some of the photos from your trip down to Nicaragua and Israel. You had some great stories there as well. I want to encourage anyone listening or watching, go to DaniJohnson.com, DANI Johnson.com. You can get a lot of great free training. And, she's just an amazing woman, as you can tell by listening to her. Dani, I wish we could go on. I could talk to you all night. So many great nuggets of wisdom. But thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us here on Success Profiles, and keep up the great work you're doing. God bless you.
Thank you, Daniel. You're doing amazing work too. People are blessed to be listening to you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Success Profiles with Daniel Fazzina. Join us next time as we bring you another empowering interview designed to help you achieve greatness here on Success Profiles.